Hey, good afternoon. I'm not sure what happened, but we're back. Yeah. So listen, Rod Hickman, Generational Wealth Builders, where poverty ends with us. Listen, we're super excited here doing this month that is known as Financial Literacy Month. And what we wanted to do today was just talk a little bit about what it was that we have seen and what we see going on in the market. And one of the things that we see when we sit down with a lot of our clients, we offer our clients um, budgets for free. And there's a reason why people need to have budgets, right? There's a big reason why. And most people, I don't think they really take into consideration how important it is to make sure that you have a budget in place. And I'll tell you part of the reason why. I was reading an article the other day on CSNBC, and it was basically talking about how um, the consumer pricing has gone up over 3.5% from what it was last year. What that means is everything is going up. Everything is going up. And it's important for families to make sure that they're putting themselves in position to make sure that they can weather these rocky storms. Again, I'm not here to be no Debbie Downer today. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to talk about what we're able to do to be able to help our clients get where they need to be. But here we go. You must understand, a lot of people are being laid off right now. A lot of people are going through situations and circumstances right now where, sad to say, most of them, if $1,000 bill come in right now, it would almost take them out. They would have to struggle to get that $1,000 up. And so, while that is, something we see that is present, it's not how families ought to live. And so the point with that, and this is kind of what I want to talk about today, because I personally believe that we live in one of the best times ever in history. We live in one of the best times. Again, I can complain about a lot of stuff, but our friends, families, and loved ones, Big Mama and them, they had it much worse than what we had, right? They went through, they didn't have nearly as much as what we have, but they still made it through. And so, with that being said, um, I begin to think, how were they able to do those things that they did, even though they weren't making just that much money? How were they able to make sure that we always had what we needed, even though they weren't making that much money? You get what I mean? That's really what I'm looking at today. And so as I started thinking about that, I started thinking about what they did. They used to have budgets. And budgets are something people don't talk about now. How many of you growing up, and I know if you're a millennial, you don't know what I'm talking about. If you Gen Z or whatever, you don't know what I'm talking about. But there used to be a time when we would get sent to the store, and on that piece of paper, it would be written, go get me some rice, go get me some corn. Don't get me the Del Monte corn, just get me the corn. Get me this, that, and the third. And they would give you a certain amount of money, or in my case, they would give you some food stamp and say, go get this and come back. Why am I bringing this up? What do you do when you go to the store now? If you're like me, I hate going to the store because I know that I'm not just that disciplined enough to not be able to go down that aisle with them lemon Oreo cookies and not come out with some, right? And so with that being said, we have to also take into grand consideration that at the end of the day, if you're not going into the store with a budget in mind, then there's a great chance that you are spending more money than what you really should be spending. And that's why people are in trouble. That's why people are having a hard time being able to save money. And again, when they look back, they're living from paycheck to paycheck, right? I think back to the old heads and stuff like that and what they used to do. They found a way, and again, they didn't have all these payday loans and stuff like this, that, and other. They didn't have near as much as what we have. but yet and still they found a way. And so it's all because they had a budget. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about the 5 reasons why you want to have a budget, right? The 5 reasons why you want to have a budget. This is important. And again, I hope that you would take the understanding that you will need a budget, right? I don't care how much money you have. And if we could really be honest, the wealthy have a budget by way of a accountant, right? Their accountant tells them, okay, this is your spending, this is what you don't spend. So if the wealthy have a budget and they make their money last, don't you think that's something that you and I should actually take seriously? Okay, so let's get right into it. So the first reason why you want to have a budget is the first thing is that it helps you towards your long-term goals, right? What are your long-term goals? What you'll hear me say and what we teach our clients is that your budget is a financial map, or should I say it's a roadmap to financial freedom. That's what a budget is, because it allows you to look and say, this is where I want to be. In order for me to be there, I can't go here. I can't do this. I need to save here. I need to save there. That's the first point. It allows you to be helped with your long-term goals. So that's the first thing. The second thing it does is that it warns you about overspending. It can't keep you from overspending, because when you're out there with that card, you can do what you want to do with it. But again, if you are serious about your budget, if you're serious about where you want to go, then guess what? That budget is going to you're going to keep that in mind and be like, you know what? I got an extra $3, $4, $5, $1,000, but I'm not going to spend it. I'm going to make sure that I leave it there. And again, listen, I'm not saying here, and we all, when I sit down, and I'll show you an example of a budget that we do. But listen, we set up for you to reward yourself, because again, you shouldn't just be working a squirrel away just to enjoy when you're old. You should not be doing that. You should be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. But here's the thing, it has to be planned. And that's what a lot of people don't like to do. I'm grown. I do what I want to do with my money. Well, go ahead on with your grown self. But when your older self is broke and you can't put 2 nickels together, you can't blame anyone else but yourself. All right. So that's that. So the next thing it's going to do is going to help make sure that you're prepared for emergencies. As I said a little earlier, what happens if you get a flat tire? I remember, last month, I want to say it was last month, about the middle of last month, 2 of my vehicles needed tires. And I was like, God almighty. And, that's $2,500 gone just like that. And I thank God that we're in a position where we could do that, where we don't have to go and get no money and all this, that, and other, but we're able to take care of what we're able to take care of. But again, it's because of our budget. We're able to take care of what we need to take care of. We're able to take money and set it to the side and do what we need to do. And so again, things like that. That's what a budget will do. A budget helps you prepare for those emergencies. So when they happen, you're not just, oh, Lord, have mercy. What am I going to do? Oh, Lord, I now got to go and get a high interest loan in order to get tires on my car, right? What you're going to pay for them joint 5, 6 times over. All right. Now, let's go. It can reveal, this is point number 4. It can reveal, or is this 5? I think it's 5. It can reveal, watch this now. It can reveal your spending habits, right? It can reveal your spending habits. And that's a kicker right there. Like I said earlier, sometimes folk be like, I'm grown. You can't tell me what I'm going to do with my money. You're right. I can't tell you what you're going to do with your money. But here's what I can tell you. If you don't get a handle on your spending, I can tell you poverty, that wolf of poverty, is going to be right there at your doorstep every time, without fail. You ain't even got to worry about it. You ain't got to ask me. I'm telling you. If you don't get a handle on your spending and your habits, poverty gonna catch up on you. Prime example, come on, brothers. You don't need all the Jordans, do you? Bro, do you need all the Jordans? Come on, man. Or do you have to buy the newest thing every time, dog? Every time? No, come on, bro. Come on, ladies. Y'all too now. How many purses y'all need? Well, this one is buttercream and tan, and this other one is tan and buttercream. Come on, man, what are you talking about here? Why Do you have to have all this stuff? See, this is what a budget does. And this is why folk don't like to do it. Because when you have that budget is going to basically say, hey, bro, you buying stuff that you really, really don't need, right? And the last point that I make, when you budget, it can help make your retirement that much easier. Why do I say that? The optimal way to go into retirement, listen to me, folks, the optimal way that you want to go into retirement is debt-free. Debt-free. You want to make sure that you have a fixed index annuity that's going to give you money every year, 5 to 7% of your growth for the rest of your life. And you want to make sure that, again, the optimal is you're getting 6 figures from your annuity. And then that you have money that you can put your hands on, money in your bank account, stuff like this, that, and the third. And again, when I talk about your bank account, I'm only talking about the emergency fund. I ain't talking about just keeping all your eggs in one basket. But again, when you budget properly, you can make retirement easy. You can make retirement one of those things where you can retire literally at the age of 59 and a half. And depending on how you've budgeted, you may be able to retire earlier than that. But again, that's what it allows you to do when you track your spending. Because here's one of the things that most people don't consider when they retire. They don't consider their spending habits. What do I mean by that? If someone is making $100,000 a year when they retire, a lot of times people don't take into consideration that you're not making that $100,000 a year that you were making last time. Now you may be making $50,000 a year, or whatever your annuity or your pension is going to pay you. And so what happens is if you hadn't reined in that spending, you're going to blow through your retirement money. Just like that now. And that's another reason why you see so many people messing with their retirement, right? Their retirement, they got to go back to work. And let me put this point in here now. Y'all know how I feel about the 401k. Y'all already know I don't have to say how I feel about that, but I want y'all to understand something real fast, right? When it comes to that 401k, leave that money alone. If you just made up in your mind and say, you know what, bro, I'm going to do my 401k. I don't care what you got to say. I'm going to do my 401k. That's fine. That's your choice. We're free country, kind of. But what I want you to understand is every time you dip into that money, you're literally shooting yourself and cheating yourself out of 30% of growth. What do I mean by that? You got to pay taxes and penalties on the money that you pull early, right? Unless it's for a specific event, right? But then you have to turn around. If it's not for one of those specific events like buying a home or something like that or a medical situation, then what you're going to have to do, you're going to pay that 30% tax, 30 plus percent income tax or 20 plus percent income tax rate. Plus you're going to pay the penalty, the 10% penalty. And that's money you don't get back. So think about it like this here. Just high level math. If you wanted $10,000, you got to get $13,000 out. And you got to pay yourself back the 10, but what about the other 3? Right? That makes sense. Again, that's why leave that money alone. And if you have a proper budget, guess what? You create an emergency fund. Boom, that emergency fund is where your money goes. Or if you've listened to anything that Rod has been saying, you get an IUL, an Index Universal Life Policy, and you start putting your savings into that vehicle. That vehicle is growing anywhere from 6 to 15% rate of return. So when you need that money, you got access to it. But again, that's a whole conversation for a different time. We're talking about budgets today. Now, with that being said, I hope you understood where we're going with this. You want to make sure that you're able to retire and retire well. Now, here's the thing. So let me show you. This is what we do literally when we sit down with our clients. This is how we help our clients work on their budget. Now, I want y'all to understand something. At the end of the day, remember, you're grown. You can do what you want to do. And I'm not here to manage you or manage your money. We're just here to provide you with goods and services that can help you attain financial freedom. Now, this is a very, very simple budget, right? What we do is we look at your expenses versus your income, right? We look at your expenses versus your income. And as we start delving down into this, we deal with your planned versus your actual. This is important, right? Because this right here is where a lot of people go Titanic when it comes to a budget. What do you mean by that, Hick? Well, let me show you. So in this example, you said on food, you were going to spend $3,000 in a month. But if you spent $5,000, you've busted your budget. Does that make sense? All of your spending, the purpose of having a budget is reviewing your planned versus actual. And this is what gets people every time. Why? Because people are so, well, I want to be social and I want to hang out with this one. I want to hang out with that one. And again, I get it. Listen, I'm one of the main ones. If you be like, hey, man, let's go get something to eat, I'm like, bet where we're going. And depending on where we're going, I'm going to show up. But here's the thing. You got to understand, you've got to rock within your budget. So in theory, if you said, hey, I'm allocating $2,500 in a month for food, right? Christmas gift, graduation gift, that time is coming up. How much are you allocating for those gifts? Health and medical care. Again, this is something every month you want to set to the side for, even if you don't use it, right? What do I mean by that? Maybe you say, hey, I'm going to save $50 a month. That's for Tylenol Cold Plus, Theraflu, whatever the case may be. If I know I feel like I got to go to the urgent care, whatever the case may be, you just go through and you outline them. Your home, your rent, your mortgage, right? Your transportation. How much does your whip cost? You know what I'm saying? You throw that in there. Let's say $500, right? Personal. And again, personal is where you say, I'm going to give myself a certain amount of money, right? And again, remember, we want to rein in spending. So this is, we'll just say in a month, $250 a month, right? Again, this is you now. This is how you say you're going to do it. Pets, God Almighty, I got two at the house, right? My Callie and my Apollo, right? They cost us money. That going to the groomer, that needs to go there. What are your utilities? Travel, you see what it is right here. So as you can see now, what we planned in our expenses is this, right? Now, we always leave these other and these customary categories here because everybody has different things. But here are the things, you'll put this here if like, let's just say, I'm trying to figure out. So let's just say, the tire, you hit a pothole, you driving in Memphis or anywhere around here in Tennessee, man, you listen, these roads something else, man, right? But you're driving around here, you hit a pothole, boom, you got to get some new tires. So you could put that here as a, one time, got new tires, right? How much did the tires cost? We'll just say $900, right? This was something that, or actual, we'll put this here, but we'll put it in the actual, right? Okay, be cool. All right, we'll put it in the actual because that was money that you did not expect to spend. Y'all see where we're going with this? So what's happening, at least now you're able to see where you are, right? How are you doing as far as your expenses are concerned? If you get this down, this right here builds your savings. Does that make sense? Say that again. If you get your expenses down, your planned expenses, if you can keep them, your planned versus your actual, if you can keep them where you have a positive over here, what do I mean by positive? So let's say where you accounted $5,000 for your food, you did $2,000. You now have a plus 500. You mean you have saved yourself $500. Does that make sense? So that's what you want. You want your plan versus actual. You want where the actual is less than what you planned. That is the essence of a budget. It allows you to literally be able to say, okay, wait a minute. So I was planning to spend $4,300 in bills. Now I really spent $3,900. We have a plus of $450. what can we do with this? This is when we go into, okay, can we put this 450 in the paying off credit cards? You get what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So now you don't have to pay, like, let's say down here, you got a credit card and you normally pay $50 on it, but this time you put $200 more to it. You get what I'm saying? Because you're doing that to pay it off, right? And now next month you won't have this $50. That $50 now will go back to money that you're saving. Does that make sense? And so, folks, that's literally what we do with a budget. That's literally a budget. That's what we do. That sets you up to be able to say, hey, man, what can I have? And what will end up happening is, if we can say, oh, I'm sorry, let me show you this one last thing and I'll be done. What happens is, at the end of the day, when we finish with your budget, we're now able to say, okay, you started with $1,000, but because you've been so frugal with your budget, with your positive and stuff like that, this month you save almost $3,000. And if you can do that every month, you just save $36,000 in a year. This is what we do. This is why having a budget is so important. It puts it in front of you. Notice your planned expenses were short, and that's what allowed you to save $300 right there. Bada boom, bada bing. So that's what we show our clients. That's what we teach our clients. And so, again, the bedrock of financial literacy is a budget. And folks, I'll tell you, if you don't have a budget, you're not in control of your finances. I say this phrase quite often. You can either make your money work for you, or you can work for your money. One of the two is going to happen, and they don't happen together. When you have a budget, your money is working for you. When you don't have a budget, you're working for your money. Why? Because you're chasing it. And let me help you. Chasing a dollar is tiring, and you'll run yourself raggedly, not raggedy, raggedly. You will run yourself raggedly. All right. Well, listen, that's my time. That's what I wanted to get on here and share with you all today, was to talk about a budget, the power of a budget. As you see with this example, we're able to help that family now put aside $36,000 in a year. And what we're able to also help families do is, again, when they have that $36,000, watch this. Instead of putting all 36 into a savings vehicle, okay, what other debt can we pay off, right? Let's use 18 of that to pay off debt. So now you have more money. You have more money to deal with. You don't go out and make more debt, but now you have more money to stack in the upcoming year. That's how you do it. And when you have more money to save, you have more money to invest in those products and services. You have more money to do things. You have money to take trips. Again, your budget continues to allow you to live your best life. And you ain't got to go back and forth with nobody. All right. Well, listen, it's always my pleasure to come on here and share with you all. I hope that each one of you get some value from this. Again, we would love, again, our budgets don't cost a thing. So all you have to do is just hit us up. You can text 901-910-2060 and say, bro, hook me up. And we'll set up a consultation. We'll walk through your budget and see where you can be by the end of the year. Again, there's still time. There's still time for you to be able to meet your what do we call those? New Year resolution goals. There's still time. But again, you can't keep putting out. You can't keep kicking that can down the road. We're in April now. So you need to make sure that you're going ahead and making some moves right now in order to be able to do what's necessary for you and your family. All right. Well, listen, it is always my pleasure to get on with you. Looking forward real soon to start interviewing more of our agents. I'm super excited about the agents that we have. The stable of generational wealth builders getting full. Again, we're super excited for our GWB Bama team. They're down there looking at an office. We just had another agent, a young man working with us out of Memphis. You're going to hear more about him. He just passed his exam today. So we're super duper excited about him. And what he's about to do and how he's about to tear this thing up and really be able to get out there and get after it and help families save, grow, and make money. So we are over the moon about what we have going on. And again, we want to make sure that we're able to help each one of you, and you. All right. Well, listen, y'all have a great day. Again, it's always my pleasure to meet y'all. Remember, knowledge is not power until it is applied. You can have an 18-wheeler truck full of gas, loaded, ready to go, eastbound and down. But if you never apply that clutch and put it in the gear, you won't go anywhere. You'll just sit there and idle. Y'all have a good night and God bless. Take care.